Now listen to me, Caesar. There can be only one talking chimpanzee on Earth. The child of the two talking apes.
20 years back.
From the year, Senor Lando, when the two talking apes arrived on Earth.
And we believe that the male and female talking apes have come to us out of the future.
A month before the talking apes arrived on Earth.
From now on, you have but one assignment: to find that talking ape.
He's a performing ape for my circus.
A talking ape?
That idiot!
This chimpanzee...
Get out of retraction immediately. Announce that the talking ape has been apprehended and put to death.
Happy Ape Year to all you chimps, gorillas, orangutans, and you damn dirty humanoids. And what a year this is going to be. I am Richard Wolosky, and I want to welcome you back to Talking Apes. This is your Planet of the Apes podcast, where over the last 9 years, almost 10 years now, we have focused on the classic Planet of the Apes era. But soon enough, we're going to be celebrating the new Apes era with the arrival of the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And if my math is correct, we're going to see this in 133 days. Newsflash, it was just reported that the release date for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes has been moved from May 24th to May the 10th. So then that would make it 119 days until release. Oh, it's going to come so quickly, I can't wait. But now, everyone, please rise, because here is my co-host. Here he is, Mr. Kevin Toft. Hey, Kevin. Here, oh, hold on. There you are. Hey, Kevin.
Here I am. Hey, I just want to say Happy New Year's to all the talking apes out there. We're so lucky to, or so happy to be on so soon again in 2024. There are lots of things coming up, such as a new Talking Apes Facebook admin. We want to thank David Braun for all his efforts since Angela, help me here, Richard?
Angela Rushmere, yes.
Okay. Had passed away a few years ago, and he's done such a wonderful job.
Yeah, now, speaking of Angela Rushmere, did you see the little Angela Rushmere Easter egg in our holiday special? Right down in the corner, we saw Urko wearing a Santa hat.
Yes.
And that was a nod to Angela Rushmere, who made that little Urko with the Santa hat. So we'll always get...
Love that.
Next year, we're going to pay a little homage to David Braun.
Yeah.
But right now, like you said, we have a new Talking Apes Facebook admin, and he is, everyone should know him, he is Mr. Patrick Izzo. Here he is. Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Richard. Hey, Kevin. How are you guys?
Hey.
We are doing well. And is it fair to say that everyone in the Apes community should know who you are? You're everywhere.
I try to be everywhere at all times.
Well, so far so good, because you're always the first one to comment, and we really appreciate and all the stuff that we post. But now, you know what? Tell us about your Planet of the Apes fandom. So let's let people meet Mr. Patrick Izzo.
My Planet of the Apes fandom actually started with the TV show. So I was born right when the show was kind of coming on, so I didn't really discover it until like the early 80s, when they would take like two of the episodes and glue them together into almost like a little TV movie, like Treachery and Greed on the Planet of the Apes. And that's how I really kind of first found out about it. And for the first couple of years when I was younger, that's what I thought Planet of the Apes was. And it wasn't until I was maybe 11 or 12 that I discovered the movies. And I'm like, oh, there's more to this than just what that TV show was. But yeah, that's how I got into it. I started off with the TV show and moved into the movies, and it's kind of taken off from there.
All right. What is your favorite Apes episode?
For the movies?
Or
the TV show?
The TV series.
The Trap. I love The Trap. I could watch The Trap every day and never get tired of it. I don't know what it is about that. I like the fact that you get to see some of like the old city, like old Oakland and the destruction and whatnot. There's just so much to that episode. There's a lot of Urko, so you can't complain about that. Love that episode. Absolute favorite.
Okay, favorite movie?
The unanswerable question. And it kind of volleys back and forth between Beneath and Conquest, kind of depending on my mood. But I think if I had to pare it down to one, it would probably be Beneath.
Beneath, really? Okay. No one else has ever said that was their favorite film. So
he's in a league of his own.
You are.
Got to be original somewhere, right? You got to.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes you got to take the road less traveled.
Yeah, you got to see that film a couple of times to really appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, now here's an easier question. What is your favorite Talking Apes episode? Talking about favorites here.
Another unanswerable question. Probably any time Zaius gets to sing, I think is probably a unique episode that I will listen to maybe multiple times.
Okay.
Heresy.
Okay. That begs the question, and you got to be honest. Who was the better singer during our holiday special when we did the 14 episodes of Planet of the Apes? Was it me? Was it Kevin? Or was it Dr. Zaius? Be honest.
With all due respect, I love both of you. I got to go with Dr. Zaius.
Good answer. Good answer.
There you go.
Well, that's exactly the answer I would have picked. Well, we are very excited for you to join us as we wrap up the final installment of Marvel's Planet of the Apes adaptation. So you came in at a very good episode. If you came in last time, we would have had to ask you to sing. So maybe that would have saved us.
No, I have to leave that to Kevin and his expertise there.
All right, now we got to always drop this in. We got to tell all the apes the best way to watch Talking Apes is to do just that. You have to watch Talking Apes because we're gonna go over this Marvel adaptation and we're gonna show you all of the panels, so you can read along with the panels. You can see the close-ups of the panels and this, if you don't have the issue, this is the best way to really follow along. But if you're just listening, we appreciate that too. All right, now, before we get into this issue titled The Secret, there's a few things we need to go over, such as this. This is Beware of the Planet of the Apes. This is a comic series that was just released. The first issue of 4 just came out on January the 3rd, 2024, so just a few weeks ago. Written by Mark Guggenheim with artwork by Alvaro Lopez. Now, have either one of you had a chance to crack this one open?
Not that one, but I like the fact that it looks like one of those graphic novels, like where the colors aren't like, old style comic book. Like it looks like they're trying to do a faithful representation of the colors and what you would see in that era of that this looks like it takes place in, because that looks like Nova to me.
Oh yeah, it is Nova. All right, this is what the press release says about this 4-issue series. Into the Forbidden Zone. In a hostile world run by aggressive gorillas, scientists Cornelius and Zira are the only apes alive who see value in the mute, dumb human race, but even they know human capabilities have severe limits. So, when their nephew Lucius goes missing, it is with great trepidation that they turn to a human ally, a young woman who will someday earn the moniker Nova. Steeped in a love for the classic tales, Mark Guggenheim and Alvaro Lopez's series will take the Planet of the Apes legacy to explosive new heights, and it all starts here. So yes, that is indeed Nova.
I dig it.
Yeah,
I like the setup.
Yeah, this is the prequel to Planet of the Apes. So we get to see what Nova's really all about.
So that would explain why Nova's hanging out in the first movie. She's there because whatever happened in this, Zira and Cornelius had a... Okay.
Yeah, I'm drawn into it because of that, because they have the legacy characters in it, because my fandom is really with the classic Apes. So when I see a cover like that, it's like, yeah, that draws me in.
Yeah, and the last series was based on the newer movies. The Marvel has a lot of faith in Planet of the Apes, and if they're going to go with the classic Apes era comic, I am all in. I'm waiting for all 4 issues to be released to get them all, because I don't want to finish the last page and go, oh, what happens next? I like to binge.
Binge it. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
And if this does well, Disney will take notice and start giving us stuff from the classic Apes era, which is how it works. If the numbers are there, if people are buying this, they know there's an audience for it. So we got to stress to everyone, all the apes out there, to please, whatever you see that has to do with the classic Apes era, please buy into that. Because if you do that, they're going to give you, they're going to give us more, and we like more around here, don't we?
Definitely.
Indeed.
Now, Kevin, you and I have fantasized on this show before about incorporating Planet of the Apes into theme parks.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
lo and behold, there is a Planet of the Apes themed ride. Oh my goodness! You know what? Let's play a little bit of this right now.
And it's right around the corner too, right, Richard?
Yeah.
Just right over in Malaysia.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a second here. Okay, here is the ride.
Obviously, you need 3D glasses.
Oh, good. I thought it was me.
Yeah.
Look at this. There's Caesar and the gang, and they're right now they're thinking the humans on the ride they're the enemy, but nope, they find out that we are friends, and the ride continues. This is great. I can't believe I've gone this long without knowing this ride existed. It's called Invasion of the Planet of the Apes, and it is an immersive trackless dark ride based on the new Apes film franchise. And it's located at Genting Sky Worlds in Malaysia. So when you said right around the corner, you meant right around the corner and then keep on going for a couple of days.
Bring the Concorde back and we could go there real quick.
Now, this ride opened in 2022, and it features a mix between screens and practical sets to create a fully immersive experience. So they do a lot of this kind of stuff at Universal. A lot of it is you see on the screens.
Yes, and now Disney's doing a lot of it. I don't know if you know this. The whole trackless vehicle. In Japan, there's a Winnie the Pooh ride that's the same trackless vehicle like they have in here with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad, both here and in Florida, as well as in Batu with
with Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah. So it's becoming a thing.
It is, with the screens and the practical sets, but the difference between Mickey's Runaway Railway and Rise of the Resistance, you do see a lot of animatronics. And watching this, I don't see any animatronics, but I would like to see that.
Yeah, they should have, to make this, perfect would have been to have some other actual ape creatures, not all of them just be when you get to a screen.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
They also do that in the Ratatouille ride at Epcot too, which I think it's how you balance that out, how you blend the screens with the...
Right. Oh yeah, exactly, and they do that very well with Rise of the Resistance. If we just had a couple of apes maybe swinging above you, that would really seal everything. But you know what? I'm happy with this. If this is all they're going to give us, I'm happy with this. And in the end, it ends with a hopeful message that someday Caesar and the apes and humans will be friends. What a perfect ending message that is.
But as a prequel, we realize that something goes
very
wrong.
Caesar, I don't want to blow your day, but that's not what happens.
We haven't gotten to yet in these new movies is the lawgiver. At some point, there is some ape that says, you know what? I'm going to build a little religious wall around human interaction.
Right, and we're going to condemn humans.
Right.
Just because I say, and we'll get into that when we read the last issue of the Marvel adaptation. Yeah, I don't believe in the lawgiver as much as I used to, but we'll get to that. I used to think this guy knew all. He was the god, and he's the god of the apes, but his viewpoint is a little slanted.
Well, something triggers him, and we haven't seen that yet.
No. Now, I bet you're all wondering, what is this Genting Sky Worlds? Are you like me? Are you wondering about this?
I was a little curious. I'm guessing it's like a Six Flags for them.
Well, this is an amusement park at Resorts World Genting Highlands in Malaysia. And it was originally titled 20th Century Fox World Malaysia during its development. as a planned movie-inspired theme park project by 20th Century Fox.
Then there was a purchase.
Yeah,
We found the connection. We found a connection.
But the studio initially pulled out of its licensing deal and amid the transitional period of Disney's acquisition of Fox Studios.
Oh, my.
So there you go.
So it could have been a Disney property, but...
Yes. So Disney said, you know what? We're going to take this right back. Zoinks! Yeah. So so Disney said, nope. This is going to be all for us, which leads you to believe maybe we're going to see an Apes ride
at Hollywood Studios in Florida.
Yeah.
That's where that's the only place they can put it right now, right?
Well, they're thinking about building another theme park out here in Anaheim, so that could be geared to more of the Fox films.
That'd be cool. I wouldn't mind an Aliens ride either.
There you go. There you go.
Right? And can I?
Oh, and maybe like we've always said, we need a Forbidden Zone land over here where you can meet Pete, Allen, Urko, Zaius,
have
Cornelius.
banana daiquiris in a restaurant.
They just have a bunch of scarecrows in it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's some rocks. There's some scarecrows. There's the gift shop. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Do kind of like Soren over the Forbidden Land, or the Forbidden Zone, but it's like the Icarus crash sequence,
Yeah, but as we discussed in the last episodes, those scarecrows really scared me.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless. Will this ever happen? This is more
Photo
of
ops with
a
Nova.
blue sky thing. If I ever get to meet Urko, Urko, I don't need a picture. Just take off the helmet for a second, would you? Is that stapled on there? I just
He's
need
bald.
to know.
I told you, it's Gorilla Glue.
It's Gorilla Glue.
Right.
Oh, boy. All right, so there's one more thing to discuss, and that is the new trailer for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
Now, how new is this? Because this goes back, like a month or two, I want to say?
2 months, I believe.
2, yeah. All right, so let's look at the trailer, and we'll give our colorful commentary to this as well. All right, you ready for this?
When I sleep, I see strange things.
Memories?
Not memories. New things.
Oh, I love that image.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
Everything.
I've noticed that, their speaking is improving each movie, right? They're getting better with their...
Yeah, the articulation.
Right. Which, again, I like to see evolution. I don't, press a button, automatically just talk, right? Because they gave them some drugs. They have to evolve. They have to learn. And I think we just saw a glimpse of Nova's great grandma.
Boy, this looks dramatic.
I'll tell you what. If all of this ends, they keep doing these movies until we start seeing an ape that looks more like the apes in the original movie, if we see an evolution, then this will have all been worth it. Seriously, because I love connective tissue. It's why I love Rogue One. It's why I love the Clone Wars and stuff. We have all these big moments, and then they came in and strung it all together. Well, if this is all, because what we're about to go, is it in this episode where I was watching the movie the other day, and when Zaius brings Charlton Heston in and starts questioning him, after the trial, he's all, one thing that Charlton Heston says is, I want to know how this upside down world came to be.
Right? Yeah.
Guess what? So do I. Because we can sit there and say, okay, obviously something happened where it flipped, right? And these movies try to tell that story. But I want it to go all the way. I want it to go all the way till we start seeing the apes look like this.
Yeah.
Then it will have all been worth it. We'll get this, it's an evolution. And wow. I mean, that's exciting to me.
I don't think they'll go so far as doing more of the prosthetic-looking faces, which I hope the apes evolve into or devolve into that. But
the technology's there, Richard. We could do that.
Technology is there for everything. But even if they just wear those iconic outfits, like that orangey yellow one that
Yes.
Zayas has, and the green of the scientists, and the black leather of the soldiers.
Yep.
I'll be happy when I see just that. I'll be extremely, extremely satisfied. Patrick, what will make you extremely satisfied in these new films?
I agree with Kevin. If you can have them start to evolve to more look like the classic apes, because I was thinking about it earlier today. Part of the reason why I love the classic ape series so much isn't just because I grew up with them, but when you look at them, like with that John Chambers makeup, you can see the humanity in the actors' faces. And the new series, the special effects look great. They look legitimately like something you would see in a zoo, in a jungle, what have you. But
Sure.
I feel more connected to the characters in those older movies because I feel like I can almost kind of relate to them because you can see the humanity in them, in their facial expressions and everything more so than you can in the newer movies. So that's why I definitely agree with Kevin. They can evolve it into looking more like the John Chambers, and you don't have to do prosthetic. We're at the point where you could do that CGI, but absolutely would love to see it go that direction.
Like how they do Avatar, right? They have that thing in front of their face, and they're able to
the
generate
digital makeup, which I'm not just. I would love to see that. I just don't think they're going to go to that extreme. The outfits, the wardrobe, I can see. The art direction, I can see. The prosthetics, I don't think we're going to go there. But I hope I'm so wrong. I do.
Right. It's funny, Patrick, you mentioned that the other day. I told you I watched Planet of the Apes. They're standing in the cave in the Forbidden Zone. I was watching Maurice Evans' performance. Watch his eyes. The man was a great actor. When he's naysaying the findings and he's talking to Cornelius and they're going back and forth. I was just watching his performance, and it's exactly what Patrick was saying there. That you don't want to miss that performance and I'd love to get to that point where they step away from the digital apes and we start being able to cast some people in there where you can see their actual eyes, and maybe they got some makeup, maybe there's a little digital help. I mean, I think it would be amazing.
What if you guys said it that I thought the same thing when I watch it, that I feel like their speech is getting better movie to movie, because when you watch like the first couple, it's like I'm reading a lot of the subtitles because they're doing sign language, and in this movie I'm getting the feeling that we might be past that, and
we're evolving.
Right? We're going to be speaking through the whole movie.
Oh yeah, this is so far past War of the Planet of the Apes, so their speech has evolved. Now they can fully articulate.
And more than one of them, right? Because initially, really, it was
just Caesar.
Just Caesar.
Because he's the one that had the drugs. But I think they all got them. I think he got more of them, which is why he could speak more than everybody else. So but they learn, right, over time. So yeah, I'm excited about it. If they can get there, then I'm all for it. I was really excited when I saw this come on the big screen. It's a really great. I mean, the trailer, we saw it here, but seeing it on the big screen, I think it's going to be well worth going to see this movie. This was a trailer in front of The Boys in the Boat. We just went to go see that, and I was like, whoa. I sat up in my chair and I'm like, okay, this is going to be good.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully they'll put a lot of marketing behind this, because I really want this to do very, very well. Let's bring Planet of the Apes back. Even the last couple of films did very, very well, but now things at the box office, it's hit or miss. You never know. So sequels haven't been doing so well, but I have a lot of faith in this.
Well, I think it's going to do better than Boys in the Boat 2. I'm pretty sure.
Just a little bit.
It'll do better than Aquaman.
Oh,
Oh,
All right, well, we will all know in 133 days. 119 days. This will come right after April. Oh, and we got a lot of things in the works for April,
yes,
and
we do.
just cannot wait. This is going to be the year of the ape. I know it's the year of the dragon, but for us, it's the year of the ape. All right, now let's get into this Planet of the Apes Marvel adaptation. This is the last issue number 6, titled The Secret. All right, now what we're seeing right here is the cover to The Secret. Now, this issue was written by Doug Munch, artwork by George Tusca, Mike Esposito, George Russos, and Tony Mortellaro. This issue was released June 1st, 1976. So, Patrick,
Bicentennial.
were you around when this issue came out?
I was 1.5.
Oh, wow.
So there's no reason for you not to have this in your collection then.
Should have had it. Should have had it.
Now, these are not monthly because the last issue came out in April and this one is June. So they missed May. All right, the cover art is by Jim Starlin and Klaus Janson. Now look at this cover over here. This cover is very, very dynamic. There are several ape soldiers, all in different uniforms and all in different colors. And
One of them's a big Laker fan, that's for sure.
with the purple and the gold, yeah. And they're standing on top of the Statue of Liberty's fallen head. And I didn't really notice that until really dissecting this cover. And in the back we see Taylor and Nova. They're on horseback, and the helmeted gorilla general yells over to them, "Humans, the only way you will enter the Forbidden Zone is dead." Oh, he's getting right to the point there.
I guess so.
All
I
right.
want to know how pyramid bullet works. How does a pyramid bullet work?
The pyramid bullet?
Yeah, how do triangle bullets work?
Maybe that'll be answered in the issue coming up. But you know what, Patrick? Let's start with you with the comments here. What is your comments on this issue, on this cover art?
I had commented on Facebook that I find it interesting that the apes are standing on the Statue of Liberty head. And the more I looked at it, I'm like, that would have been a really cool way to start beneath, where you show the flashbacks of the original movie, and then you see Taylor go by it like he's going to be heading out to the Forbidden Zone, and then right behind the Statue of Liberty, boom, there's the gorillas.
That would have been really interesting. Let's go back in time. I want to see that.
Started off with a battle just like The Empire Strikes Back. Just get right into it.
There you go. All right, Kevin, what are your comments on this cover?
I like the fact that they're riding Shadowfax. I don't know, where's the white horse? We never saw a white horse in any of the movies or anything. All of a sudden, they're riding a white horse. But and then he's lost his Fred Flintstone outfit. Now he's just wearing a...
Is that a Barney Rubble?
Yeah, we're just wearing brown underwear all of a sudden. I don't know. But no, seriously, it's... okay, triangle bullets. I just don't know how far or how accurate that would be, which would be great because it'd be hard to really kill people, and then you could have these close combat things and triangle bullets going...
So you're referring to the triangle muzzles on the gun.
Yes.
And they... well...
I'm a big aviation nut. I love aerodynamics, and I'm just trying to figure out how that you're certainly not going to get a rifle action out of that. So that bullet's just going to tumble and go. After about 10 feet, you never know who you're going to hit.
It's futuristic ape technology.
Of course, they've mastered the triangle, the dynamics of a pyramid, aerodynamics of a pyramid. One of them looks like they got a grease gun there, and they're all. It is a dynamic cover. I do like it. I like the way that the arm is going straight up, and it looks like Planet of the Apes is like wrapped around it, kind of.
Mm-hmm. In my opinion, I love this cover. It is very geometrical. All starting with what you said, Kevin, that a triangle shape down below the muzzle of the gun, and then the gorillas all form a triangle. So you get the guy in the bottom left looking at the guy in the red, and it goes up to the helmeted gorilla, and it forms a very Very nice triangle. And I really like the different colors of the gorilla uniforms. And I wish they had maybe the budget to do this in the film, so you'll know their ranking. But that could have looked really, really silly, very circusy.
I don't know if this has anything to do with ranking, as you know.
Yeah. Oh, this right here has to do more with. Let's get some splashes of color over here. I love the guy in the green undersuit and the vest with the flared shoulders.
Kind of reminds me of Doc Ock a
Yeah.
little bit. His coloring.
This guy's saying, "Hey, in the '80s, when flared shoulder pads are the thing, then you guys won't be laughing."
Right.
Now, as always, we put out the cover art in our Facebook group and the page and ask all the apes out there to go nuts. Tell us what you think about this cover art. So let's read a couple of the comments here. Anthony Mark says, "Oh, wow, what a great cover. I love this cover. It looks like a cover of a comic that would look great today, and this was way back in 1976. You know, not that I buy a whole lot of comics today, but I do see a lot of them on the Marvel app, and I think this is a little bit more dynamic than what we've been getting lately.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it definitely would stand out. All right, Brian Brady says, with that many apes and that many guns, it would seem Taylor and Nova would have no chance of getting into the Forbidden Zone. So much for Beneath.
Good luck hitting anything with a triangle, guys. I'm sorry.
You're stuck on that, aren't you? But
Hey, look.
But he's got a white horse, which means he's the hero.
Right. That's how you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Or this is some sort of crossover with Lord of the Rings. He's writing Shadowfax.
I don't know what you're talking about. Now, Chris Burleson, he also comments, "Why the white horse?" You know, I think if it were any other color, it would get lost back there, but it denotes the hero.
Just to get a little extra viewer comments on this, Richard has not seen Lord of the Rings, but I'll bet you Jedi Tink's seen it.
Nah, I don't think she has. Not with
She
me anyway.
hasn't?
Not with me anyway. No.
Am I the only one here? No?
So
Yeah.
Patrick? Oh,
No,
wow.
not a rings guy.
Okay.
no. So if you're gonna make Lord of the Rings or sports or political references, I'm gonna go way over my
Not
head.
here. Not here.
Nope.
Okay. Got it.
All right, let's wrap it up with Mr. David Braun. He writes, "What did the gorillas do to Kreber, who was the art director on Planet of the Apes, and Schaffner, who was the director? What did the gorillas do to Kreber and Schaffner? Good thing Leon Shamroy, who was the director of photography on Planet of the Apes, did not want to go up there to take the camera shot." So David's looking behind the scenes at this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's take the director and the art director and the DP. Let's take them out of the firing range. We need those guys. All right, now let's get into the actual story. All right, everyone, settle in. This is the last one. We all good?
Yes.
All right, here we are. Now, in the story here, we open in the cave where we left off with the last issue, and it looks like, look at Taylor here. It looks like he's waiting for the Marvel artist to cue him. Like, you're on, go, action. And because he's looking right at us with a very blank expression. And Nova's, is it me, or is her outfit a little skimpier than what we've seen before?
Aren't they at the beach?
Yeah, but I think with every
appropriate.
issue, it's gotten a little bit more skimpier.
I'm not going to complain.
Yep.
No, not at all. All right. Zira holds the baby doll up to Zaius, asking him to understand the significance. And, well, Zaius will be Zaius and doesn't want to hear any of it and says this doll proves nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, how would Dr. Zaius say that?
The doll proves nothing.
I just love your Zaius.
No, I don't, Dr. Zira. I love Maurice. He's so great.
Yeah. All right, so he says this doll proves nothing, and if Cornelius keeps on digging, well, he'll find that the real master of this dwelling was an ape. So he won't let go of that. Zira asks Taylor if he has anything to add, and he replies that without any more evidence, both sides have their points. Yeah, okay, all right.
He wasn't willing to give that up in the movie. So this is a different conversation in the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Here he's like, yeah, both sides can have their points. All right. Now, Taylor then gathers artifacts like eyeglasses and dentures and a heart valve. And as fragile as this all makes humans, they were here before apes, Taylor says. Now, I'm not sure how he got there. As fragile as humans were, they were here before apes.
Well, there's a I don't know if they're going to add this in here, but there's the Cornelius makes the point before this that he says to Zaius that the deeper they go, the more advanced as he's talking as they're going down the levels in the cave. And he says he calls it a paradox or something like that. He says the older one is more advanced than the level above it. And then that leads into Taylor. As he's saying that, he's picking up the glasses, the teeth, and the heart valve, and then he gives his little speech here.
But Zaius, he just flips out and says, still, not any proof. Just then, the doll that Nova is holding says, Mama. This is a very big revelatory moment for the story, but in the panel on the lower left, where we see a close-up of Nova, I just can't help but notice that she is fully made up with lipstick and false eyelashes and very manicured nails. I'm seeing things now through the eyes of Sarah. She notices those things, and now I notice those things. And I know this is a big moment. I should be noticing that the doll is actually talking. All right, then Taylor asks Zaius the big question. Dr. Zaius, would an ape make a human doll that talks? Oh, this now changes.
He stumped him.
Yeah, but...
Of course, Zaius is platinum now.
Luckily, Zaius is saved by a gunshot because we hear a crack coming from outside the cave. And outside, several guerrilla soldiers are firing. And the only one out there is Lucius. Are they firing at Lucius? Little Lucius?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, we see here Taylor crouching behind a rock and says, can't hug this dirt forever. And it looks like the only available cover is Zaius. And he grabs Dr. Zaius. Now, let's examine the geography here. From where Taylor was behind that rock to where Zaius is, he would have to run out into the open, and it would take him a good 2 or 3 minutes. Did he ask the gorillas, hey, time out, let me get to Zaius? Because the geography does not work
anything
for me.
with those triangle bullets, Richard. Be perfectly safe.
You know what? I think you're right. See, there you go. The triangle bullets, they're the answer to everything.
Well, it's at that range.
All right, Taylor tells Zaius to order his men down. And look at the panel in the upper right. Looks like Zaius...
Cease fire! Withdraw!
Looks like Zaius is going to take a big bite out of Taylor's arm. Get that
Actually, he looks panicked. He looks like he's scared.
But look at those fangs. He's like part vampire.
I know.
So the guerrillas stand down. Just then, Lucius appears and says that the soldiers took him by surprise and attacked him while he was watering the horses. What's happened to honor? He says.
Yep.
Lucius, have you never met guerrilla soldiers? Where is the honor in any of them? Just wait until you meet Ursus.
Right.
Or Aldo or Urko.
Especially Urko.
Yeah. But it was him, it was Lucius who fired that shot from earlier to warn them about the approaching soldiers. And so I just thought they were taking pot shots at the young ape boy, which that's just horrible. Now, Cornelius says the soldiers took their horses and supplies. Taylor says, but they did leave us one thing, a hostage. Which gorilla's going to lose their job over this one?
Right.
Honestly, the one with the biggest helmet.
There you go.
Let me get this straight. You guys took the horses, yep, and the supplies, and you left Dr. Zaius. Uh-oh.
A decision had to be made.
We didn't think this one. Let's blame Jason. It's always Jason's fault. Where's that gorilla soldier Jason? It's always him. All right, now Taylor then tells Lucius to tell the soldiers that he needs supplies, including food, a horse, a spade, 50 rounds of ammunition, and a partridge in a pear tree. I'm not lying. It says it right there. A partridge in a pear tree.
And some of those fancy threads that Zaius is wearing, man.
The 70s at its best.
I wouldn't mind a lavender suit like that, like a hot pink.
That's magenta.
Yeah. You're not gonna lose Zaius in a crowd.
Yeah.
And if they don't comply, Zaius won't leave alive. Now, Zaius, he doesn't doubt this threat since Taylor is a born killer. Yeah, believe him because he's going to kill me. Now, look around, Zaius, okay? Because who's been killing who these last 6 issues? I haven't seen any humans kill anybody. I've seen a lot of apes kill people, just not humans. So
And unnecessary surgery.
Yeah, and that too. And beheadings.
Yes.
Taylor then ties Zaius up to a tree. Yeah, I'm not sure how many trees you're gonna find that close to the edge of a beach like that.
It was a stump or something, or was it a stone or something?
Yeah, in the
it was
film,
a stone.
it was a film was
Stone,
this
okay.
big, twisted, broken log. Because when I
Yeah,
saw the
something
tree
like
here, I
that.
thought, okay, in the film it's not a tree, so I went and looked at it. I believe it's this big twisted branch because there's another big twisted branch right behind them.
Driftwood.
Driftwood, yeah, there you go. There you go. That's the word I was looking for.
Not a lot of trees on Zuma Beach.
Right.
No, trust me. All right, Taylor explains certain principle of stress and strain. If you should exert pressure to remove those bonds, you'd only succeed in choking yourself to death. It'll be suicide, he says to Zaius. Now, this is still for kids, right?
Right.
Is there a rating on this?
And they happily left that out of the movie. There was too much dialogue going on at that time.
Yeah, way too much.
All
right. Cornelius asks not to treat him that way, but Taylor throws it right back at him and says, well, wasn't I humiliated by all of you? Didn't you lead me around on a leash? And Cornelius responds with, well, that was different. We thought you were inferior. Oh, you've come a long way, Cornelius.
Yes.
And
know
Taylor
better.
Taylor shoots back and says, and now you know the truth. Oh, sick burn. Taylor says to Zaius, man preceded you here. He developed your science and language and every bit of knowledge the apes have. Now, is there a possibility that the humans that lived in the cave with the dentures and the eyeglasses and such, couldn't they have come after apes had established a society? So we don't really know who was the supreme species. We're all assuming one or the other.
Well, no, from the way they show it in the movie, in the archaeological layers in there, and the way that Cornelius was doing the dig.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, the further down you go.
Yeah, there's layers. Yeah, but and I was watching how they staged that scene, where they put Zira, where they put each character, and there's this path that comes down, and then they did it specifically the correct archaeological way that a dig like that is done, is they do it in layers. And I noticed they had all the correct tools and sifting boxes and stuff around. Like, it was good. I thought they did a good job on that in the movie.
Yeah, but maybe if you dug a little bit deeper, you would have seen a helmet. That's an Urko helmet if I ever saw one, or a Ursa's helmet, or Aldo helmet, you know. So I know Taylor is saying, well, man preceded you here. I know that, but it's all conjecture. So I think each side has their point. But then Zaius asks,
you've been reading too many comic books, man.
You know what? Because you know what? I just want to give each side their own point, their own platform to speak.
The truth is about to be revealed. The secret.
But is it? Okay? We'll get there. Zaius then asks, well, why didn't man survive? And Taylor says, I got no idea, and gives a list of possibilities. It could have been a plague, could have been anything. Who knows?
Right.
Taylor then says that the defender of the faith, Zaius, knew the truth about humans all along. There's a lot of leeway in that, which we'll go over in a second. Now, Cornelius asks Zaius if this is true, and the artist chose to put Cornelius and Zira, their facial features in shadow. It would make sense if their faces were brighter with this new knowledge of humans and where they stand, and Zaius should be the one in shadow.
I don't know. All I can say is this: they look like they were in a hurry here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
a time saver. It's a time saver. But yeah. I really wish the artist had drawn them with a very like almost like an aura over them. Very bright faces with an aura. Like, hey, we're coming into new knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Zaius then tells Cornelius to open up his breast pocket. All right, gonna drop some knowledge here. Cornelius pulls out the lawgiver's scrolls and reads aloud.
Beware the beast man, for he is the devil's pawn. Alone among God's primates, he kills for sport, or lust, or greed. Yea, he will murder his brother to possess his brother's land. Let him not breed in great numbers, for he will make a desert of his home and yours. Shun him. Drive him back into his jungle lair, for he is the harbinger of death.
All right. Now, where did the lawgiver get this information? That's what I want to know. They're all saying the lawgiver, he's the one who knows all. He wrote the scripture. But
well, two things.
Where
First,
did he
it
get
looks
this
like
information?
he's reading from the Book of Armaments from Holy Grail. Then the next thing is that this goes back to what we were saying about the trailer earlier. At some point, we're going to see in one of these movies an ape that gets designated the lawgiver. But there's going to be that's going to know the history up to a certain point and decide that they're going to do a cutoff and say, you know what, this is what we got to do with man because they just wreck everything.
Yeah, and of course the lawgiver is going to slant everything to the ape perspective and say that man is nothing but evil. That it's like the Bible. Maybe it's been rewritten so many times with different opinions added in that this is what you got. Maybe the original scripture was like, man is awesome. Men and women, they do nothing but do great things for ape society.
Huh? Said no ape ever.
And likely never will.
You know, I'm seeing both sides of it. Okay, I'm trying to be fair. I'll never be a politician. All right, Zeus says he saw nothing in that cave to alter that conception of man, that he's the harbinger of death. Now, I would like to think that maybe if he saw some weapons in there, instead of dentures and eyeglasses, if he saw weapons, I think he'd have a case to stand on. But to say, I saw nothing in that cave to make me think that man is not the harbinger of death, I think he could have had a better leg to stand on. Because he's saying that I saw nothing in that cave that doesn't make me believe that man equals death, man equals evil. But what did you see in that cave?
What he's saying is he didn't see anything in there that proved that they were super peaceful. He's not saying that he saw stuff in there that proves his point that what he just wrote there about being the harbinger of death or bringer of death. He just said there's nothing that you showed me that shows me that they're this super peaceful type. I think that's how I'm interpolating it.
Well, yeah, okay. I see that. So that's one way of looking at it. But the lawgiver went on and on about how man is nothing but evil. And if Zeus is saying, hey, you know what? I saw those dentures. Man, that means men are evil.
Well, that's what I'm saying. No. That's not how he's doing it. He's just saying, big deal. He wore glasses and he wore dentures. That doesn't change what the lawgiver said. If there had been something in there, you know, like maybe if this was like a hippie commune from the 60s and it was all peace, love, and, you know, all that stuff, that then they could say, no, look, they're talking about peace here or something. All he saw was artifacts that do nothing to disprove the words of the lawgiver. Mm-hmm. That's all. I see how you're viewing it, but I'm kind of flipping it around and saying, no, he's just saying that you showed me a bunch of stuff that doesn't prove that they're not what the lawgiver says.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. And I don't even know, what would you find other than like a hippie commune? What could you bury that would disprove the words of the lawgiver? What would they have to bury? You know, like,
well, to prove them right, then they would find axes and swords and weapons. Because then Zeus could say, look what men have. Look at all those weapons.
I think they would. I think for all that, he would say, just look at humans now. You know what I mean? He would just he would base it on the humans that he's met in his lifetime, and not need any more to go with that. He wouldn't need to find buried proof of that. But Patrick, in Beneath the Planet of the Apes,
yep, I was going to say that.
Right. So we're getting a slice here with the first movie. There's apes that know the secret, the real secret, which is beneath the planet of the apes, right?
That was always my interpretation, that Zaius,
Right.
he always knew, because even
Yes.
when Taylor was writing in the dirt, when he was in that cage,
Yep.
Zaius didn't flip out like, "Oh my God, this human could write." He knew. That's why he just
Right.
erased it real quick, because you have to protect what our society believes. And then
Yes.
when we're coming up soon after this scene, when Taylor takes off and they say, "What's he going to find out there, Dr. Zaius?" He goes, "His destiny," because he knows what he's going to find out there.
Yes.
Okay,
I
that's
always
another
felt
big
like I
question
always
have
felt that. I
coming
always
up
felt
here.
like Zaius knew
He
the
always knew.
truth, but he never wanted to say it in front of Zira and Cornelius. He never wanted to say, because then he would have to explain too much. It's better to just lean into the lawgiver and not have to deal with, well, how do you know? What do you know? Oh, then it's easier for him to just say, nope, it's heresy and lawgiver and you're bad.
Well,
That's it.
exactly, and then ape culture will just crumble.
Because they
Well,
do,
so-
I think, refer to him as the protector of the faith.
Yes.
Right.
If
That's
I'm
correct.
correct,
Well,
right?
but just even telling Zira and then explaining to Zira and Cornelius, oh no, they had weapons and I've seen it and it's it's this, that, and the other. It's easier to just use fear of heresy and not have to
Right.
get them on board by showing them everything, just scare them.
Yeah, and as a defender of the faith, he doesn't mind that ape culture will stand at a standstill as long as
Right.
everything is at the status quo and everyone believes apes are supreme.
Right.
That's it. That's fine. Everyone go about your day. Let's just leave it at that.
All right, just follow the faith and don't ask questions.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. All right, another question here. Look in the middle panel right here. Is that a pterodactyl flying behind Taylor in that red sky? That's a pterodactyl if I ever saw one.
It's a dragon whelp.
See, so many questions are being brought up. All right, now, like in the film, before this scene can go any deeper, we are interrupted by the guerrilla soldiers who have returned. Oh, there they are.
You know how they are.
And Zaius says that Taylor won't survive. He'll either be killed by an ape or some other jungle beast. Is he referring to that pterodactyl?
Or he left shot in front of a nuclear missile out. But that's
That's for another movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's Adaptation's coming next.
Yeah.
All right, Zaius almost sounds sincere when he tells Taylor to come back with them. Maybe there's a place for him in Ape City. And Taylor sees right through it and says, "Yeah, that place is in a cage." And Zaius
Right.
says, "Yes, that's where humans belong." Now,
right.
if I hadn't seen the sequel or knew anything about apes, the storyline, I'd almost think that Zaius was going to give him a position somewhere in the ministry. He's like, "Yeah, come back with us." I think, wow, that's pretty generous of him. He's going to offer him
the head of the Ministry of Heresy.
For a second there was a shred. I saw a shred of decency in Zaius, but it was taken right away. All right, Taylor then asks Cornelius and Zira to come along with he and Nova. Well, they refuse because they don't want to leave the ape culture, which I understand. That won't be the case with Galen. But Cornelius and Zira, like, nope, we're going to stay here with the ape culture. And Taylor then says he wants to kiss Zira goodbye.
I'm glad they kept the line in there.
All right, now, I never thought this until now. Does Taylor want to kiss Zira to really irritate and piss off Zaius?
No.
That's what I would do.
But with all the changes they've been making in this comic book, they could have added one more panel, at least one more line that Zira said there after she says, "You're so damn ugly." No tongue.
Look at that panel. You don't know what's going on there. But
Well, apparently, yes, and there's no dialogue at all, not even sound effects. There's nothing. This time they just went, well, we'll draw it and move on.
But
it does
I
look very
still think,
passionate.
and I never thought this until now, I think he just wants to really irritate Zaius. He's all tied up. He can't do anything, and he's going to kiss one of them. Oh, that is really going to get under his skin. That's something Zaius will never be able to unsee.
Torture. Torture.
And judging by the emotional tears on Zira, she wants to, but she's going to pretend she doesn't want to by calling him so damn ugly.
Yes.
But, you know what? The tears speak louder than your words.
Maybe if he had kept his beard, it wouldn't have been so bad for her.
Now, let's look at this panel right here where the two are kissing. I don't think either one of them is enjoying this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Kevin, what do you see? I don't see either one of them having a good time here.
I think Taylor's a dog, man.
Well, he is a dog, and he's even said it before. I've had lots of women, but
hide your women. Here comes Taylor.
Mothers, lock up your daughters. Yep. Taylor's on the loose. All right, now things take a turn when religion is thrown in. When Zira says, "Go with God, Taylor." That's an old expression, and I'm sure it comes from both ape and man. And Taylor responds with, "God bless you, Zira." All right, discuss.
Doesn't she mean go with lawgiver?
Why wouldn't she have said that?
Yeah.
They're bringing something totally unique into Planet of the Apes.
Because they never talk about, in the movie, I don't know.
No, they never talk about
really
God.
About the lawgiver.
They do. They say ape was made in God's image, or God made ape in his image.
Yep.
But in this scene, they didn't bring religion.
No, this was not in the movie.
No, not in this scene.
No, that just changes everything.
Et cum spirito tuo.
All right. Taylor then invites Lucius to come along, but he declines also. And Taylor tells him to keep the flags of discontent flying. That's the only way things ever change.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it would be a riot if Taylor asks Zaius if he wants to go, and Zaius says, "Okay."
Well, now that you mention it,
yeah, I wouldn't mind going.
I have some time coming to me.
Zaius, you want to come?
No, I'll just stay here with my beech tree.
With his big piece of driftwood.
Couple personal days he has to kill.
Right.
Now, before they leave, Taylor has to prod a little more and asks why. Why do you continue to hate and fear me? And we all know these zealots, these types. Zaius just won't let his mind expand when he knows the truth. So, Taylor, you know the reason. We all know the reason. He's not going to expand. But you know what? Give him credit. Give him credit. Maybe as he's leaving, hey, this is your last chance to tell me what you really think. There's no one else listening here. There's no recorders going on. But then again, you have Zira and Cornelius and Lucius, so he's only going to say so much. All right. Taylor then brings up the obvious. There were no weapons found in the cave. So what makes you think humans are so dangerous? He then says, the planet where apes evolved from men, a world turned upside down, a puzzle with a final piece missing. He's given Zaius every opportunity to say, hey, you know what? Maybe, just maybe men aren't as dumb and so bottom of the barrel as we thought they were.
Oh, okay.
But of course, he's never gonna say that. Then Zaius says my favorite quote from any of the Planet of the Apes films.
Untie me?
Okay, go ahead and say it.
Don't look for it, Taylor. You may not like what you find.
I love that quote so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it still begs the question, what is he talking about? Don't look for it.
Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Come on.
So
the burn victims, the missile, all that.
Now, do you think that's what he's really referring to?
Ever since I saw Beneath, that's what I thought.
But at the time,
of course, we didn't know. But at the time, if you only see that movie, you don't know what he's talking about. You maybe think it's the thing that he's about to see. But I firmly believe he knows about that stuff beneath.
Yeah, I think he's been to the Forbidden Zone and he's seen all those things, and that's the proof that he has.
Or someone has been and explained. Either he's been there, or someone that he knows has been there and told the whole thing to him, so he knows the whole story and he's trying to suppress it one way or the other.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think by the time of making this, they had an idea of that, and they built Beneath the Planet of the Apes on that theory. That be careful what you look for. Yeah, I think that whole sequel came from that line. That makes a whole lot more sense now.
Yeah.
Now, if Taylor knows of the lawgiver's scrolls, do you think that maybe he would write like a secret continuation of these scrolls and let the chimp scientists find it and write something like, what I said about humans, well, you know what? I take back. Boy, was I wrong. I met quite a few, and they were a fun, jolly bunch. So let's just leave them alone. If I were Taylor, I'd be doing something like that. And go, hey, Cornelius, what's that buried in the sand right over there? I know it matches my handwriting, but it's not.
Right.
All right, with that, Taylor and Nova ride off into the sunset. As Cornelius is untying Zaius, the gorillas charge after Taylor, but Zaius tells them to stop.
Let them go.
Taylor looks back and sees that Zaius has halted the troops from pursuing, and even confides that there may be a spark of decency in him after all. Taylor, hold that thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zaius then orders that the cave be destroyed. Oh, okay. No more shred of decency in this orangutan. Zaius then turns on Cornelius and Zira and tells them that they will be tried for heresy. Cornelius tells him that there is no heresy because they have the talking doll. That proves everything. And Zaius says, in a few minutes... Oh, Kevin, I stepped on your line. Go ahead and read that one.
In a few minutes, there will be no doll. There can't be. Right. That's what everything we are saying is he absolutely does not want. Yeah.
Yep.
This to get out.
And he even says here, what I do with no pleasure. So I think there's the shred of decency, because in a small way, I think he would like for this information to get out to maybe expand on ape culture for better or for worse. I thought he meant the pleasure, the silencing. No, he's gonna bury all this evidence, but being the defender of the faith, I think there's still a little bit of him that would want to expand on things.
Well, as the defender of the faith, his whole faith is built on a lie. And every time he has to go to defend it, no matter who he's talking to or explaining it to, whether it's Cornelius, Zira, or Taylor, every time he has to lie about it. That's a lot to carry.
Exactly. That's my point. I think it's weighing down on him.
Yeah.
And I think he would like for this to get out. It would just cause hell in Ape City, but you know what? He wouldn't have to be sitting on this lie any longer than he already is. All right, now, after Lucius has some words about not letting the future stand still, there you go, Zaius tells him that he may have just saved his own future. So Zaius is kind of flip-flopping here. Lucius then asks, what will Taylor find? And Zaius responds, his destiny.
Or his density.
You are my density.
Yep.
All right, so now this is all making sense. Maybe Zaius should lead him to, hey, why don't you go down below, go down beneath the Planet of the Apes. Let me just help you out there.
Right. Wow, man.
Taylor and Nova ride along the shoreline, and they see a lot of greenery in the distance. And this is a good sign for Taylor. He says that where he's from, green means go. I wish that line, as cheesy as it is, I wish that line were in the film.
Oh, boy.
Just then, we cut back to the cave as it's being blown to smithereens with a boom.
Yeah, I don't know what they used, but man, that was like C4 or something.
Yeah, that's a lot of explosives right there. Back with Taylor and Nova, Taylor knows exactly what has happened. Now, there is no proof of a talking doll. And they continue their journey and round this cliff face here. And what will they see? What's around that cliff face?
A lovely lady.
The ultimate plot twist. He takes it all in, then bellows,
You maniacs!
blow it up! Oh, damn you!
And he's back to wearing his Fred Flintstone gear.
He should say yabba dabba doo.
And
Now
we
this.
see what he sees, a half-buried Statue of Liberty. Now, I like the image of the statue's half-buried head here. And it's looking right at the reader. I love that imagery. However, I would have preferred they had gone with the iconic shot in the film.
Yeah. This is sacrilege to me, man. That whole end of that movie was so iconic. That scene, that shot looking over her shoulder down at him. I was like, why would you do this? But
I do like the fact that the Statue of Liberty is looking right at the reader.
Now Ellis Island is beachfront property now.
Now, do you think this is the first time Nova is ever seeing this?
Oh, Nova doesn't get it. No,
I know she doesn't know what it means, but is this the first time she's ever seen the Statue of Liberty?
You mean is Nova from the Forbidden Zone?
Maybe she's passed by this area.
Maybe that new comic series, the prequel,
might
show.
Oh, there you
where
go.
she's been. Maybe she went on the expedition with, the original expedition with Zira and Cornelius. I don't know, but we're certainly not going to know unless someone teaches her sign language or something.
I would love to know that Nova has been there.
I always assumed that she didn't, but now that you kind of bring it up, there really isn't any evidence either way. But that's just in watching it. That was always my interpretation, that she had never seen it either.
Because she looks at it in the film like, yeah, what of it? But if you're seeing this big lumbering statue in the beach, it might set you off a little bit. Like, hey, this thing is kind of scary. But if you've seen it, 10, 15 times in your life, it's not going to mean that much.
Well, how about she's just super primitive? I mean, she wouldn't, to her...
She wouldn't know what it is.
Right. To her, it's no different than a pile of rocks, a tree, or a horse. It's all.
Well, I think she's
all the
more
same.
advanced, knowing that this is not a big pile of trees or a branch. I think she can see the human features of it, and she knows
she doesn't
that,
know what to make of it.
No. The symbolism, there's no way she would know, but it's still kind of a very lurking image in the film, very very glooming. You have this big giant statue looking over the beach. It's almost on par with those scarecrows.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah. So I think she has seen this before. Like, yeah, no big deal. But yeah, you're right. I hope they bring this back in the comic. That would be awesome. But would that take away anything from either one of you if we knew that Nova has seen this before?
If it adds anything to her background, I think that would be really cool.
Right.
Wait a minute. In the movie, we see it's facing out the water this way. So they came from that direction off that. Hey, is Ape City in Jersey? Well, I mean, based on in the movie where the statue is facing, right? It's looking out the harbor. That's New York.
Right.
That's New Jersey.
I think
right?
I think it's more on the coast.
Well, that's all changed, but I'd just say roughly New Jersey.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I still, knowing my geography of New York, I would still think it's on the edges.
I've always just assumed that they were in New York, because especially when you go to Beneath, because they're not crossing any waterways or anything to go. Like,
well,
if
obviously
it was
the
Jersey,
water is it's all changed. This whole beach, everything.
But seeing the Statue of Liberty, that says right there they're in New York.
Right. If you look in the movie, the camera's here looking over her shoulder. She's looking this direction, right? She looks out the harbor, right? She looks out towards the Atlantic Ocean, right? When you come in. Mm-hmm. So over here is Manhattan, and over this way would be New Jersey, right?
But are you assuming that what we see in the movie, it's still on Ellis Island?
Well, unless there was like tectonic plate shift.
Yeah, unless it shifted.
Well,
yeah.
No, because my thought always kind of was, because you only see it from like midsection up, that if it was a nuclear explosion, that it blew it. And that's what I always thought in watching it.
That's awesome.
That's
better than what I'm saying.
and it landed on that portion of that beach because that beach looks nothing like Ellis Island or anything like that. So I'm like, it's probably like the shore of New York, but I assume in a nuclear blast, that portion
Who
got ripped
knows?
off and blown over there.
Who knows
literally
how
always what I
far
thought.
Yeah.
it was flung through the air.
Yeah.
It could've- it-
No, we get a couple of ape listeners from New York. There's David Braun and Just Levesque.
Let's find out.
Yeah, let's let us know your thoughts on the geography of this.
Because it would, I always assumed that, I've seen how it's built. I don't know that it could be flung without coming completely apart. So I always assumed it was Ellis Island, and there was just so much shift over time that the coastline and everything changed so dramatically over several thousand years.
Yeah.
That just kind of changed. Ellis Island's no longer an island. It's the whole thing has shifted, but I also like the idea of it being blown. Cincinnati. We're actually in Cincinnati now.
Yeah.
Boom.
Maybe they're in Philadelphia.
Right.
Patrick, look out the window. Do you
I'm
see any apes out
looking-
there?
I think I see something out there now.
Then you know what? You never know. So that's the beauty of interpretation.
We need a few more landmarks to know where this all took place. But
Yeah.
Well, we will see the underground subway stations
right.
of New York. So I think that's a pretty good sign there.
Oh, right. In Beneath.
Yeah, beneath the Planet of the Apes. Yeah.
To Radio City Music Hall, you see
Right.
the Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
all of
Okay,
that.
so then it didn't get flung, and we just assumed that through erosion and tide changes and all the
Right.
stuff that happens to coastlines over the years, that it's just this used to be an island, but it isn't anymore. Now, but I will say that this panel definitely supports Patrick's theory, because this thing looks like it was blown through the air and parts came raining down.
Right.
See?
Yeah, we don't see the rest of it, so the body could be somewhere in Connecticut.
In the movie, though, it just looks like it just kind of lurched over, a little bit.
Right. All right, great. Good deal. All right, now that we've officially ended our commentary on the Planet of the Apes Marvel adaptation, what do we think about the whole series?
They took liberties.
They did, but like we were saying earlier, they could have gone from different drafts of the script and gone off of them. We see that a lot with the Star Wars adaptations. They'll go on earlier versions of the script because that's what they have to work with. So I like the fact that there's some differences, and it makes you think. Like the whole Zaius telling Taylor, be careful what you look for. You may not like what you find. I never really thought about that and what his destiny is until we started reading these comics. So I think you get a whole lot more out of reading than in the film. In the film, you're sitting down, you're enjoying it, but now you get to really digest a lot of the dialogue. So Patrick, how about you?
I thought it was fun, and I just kind of think back to if this is the mid-'70s, these comic books were really geared towards kids. And when the movies came out, ultimately, once they were out for a while, they were kind of geared towards kids when you had Go Ape and they would play all 5 of them in the theater. But when they first came out, I don't think they were really geared towards kids. But I think these comics were a good way to introduce kids that might be like 11, 12 years old, to the apes, and that might be their first introduction to it and kind of lead them into watching the movies.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, now this once again wraps up the 6-part adaptation of Planet of the Apes, and Marvel only adapted Planet of the Apes and Beneath the Planet of the Apes. So before we break down Beneath the Planet of the Apes, we have some other things in store, details to follow, some things leading up to April. Not gonna give any more than that. That's all you apes get. Still working on things. But now let's get into some listener feedback with Listen to the Apes.
Listen to the apes.
All right, now Anthony Mark, he writes, He writes in the comments for the holiday special, this whole series of videos about the Marvel comic book in 1975 and 1976 has been amazing. Let's all have an Urko-tastic holiday season. I truly enjoyed watching every single second of this video. Thank you, Anthony.
Including the bloopers.
Including the bloopers.
Yes.
Kevin, you're welcome.
Boy.
It was the perfect holiday video. I hope that everyone has an Urko-tastic new year. Well, thank you very much. All right, James Grattan writes, you're so correct in that watching the YouTube video of your podcast is much more fun. Well, there you go. In addition to the review of the issue, I'm loving the banter. Season cheers and thanks for putting this together. All the best for 2024. Well, thank you so much for that feedback. And once again, you got to watch the YouTube video on the Skywalking Through Neverland YouTube channel to really get in all of these fun panels. You don't want to miss those triangle bullets. I know you can hear about it, but to see it, that's something else. That does it for this episode of Talking Apes. Thanks to everyone for listening and watching the show on YouTube or just listening on your podcatcher. And thank you, Mr. Patrick Izzo, for joining us and for taking up the mantle of Facebook admin.
Thanks for having me, guys. It is an honor, and I want to thank David Braun for all the work that he did.
Same here.
And I'm going to pick up the mantle. We're going to run with it. We're going to have some fun.
All right.
Coming in at a good time. All right, now we also want to thank Rob Dellinger, who composed the theme to Talking Apes. Please check out Rob's band at alpharhythmkings.com. Now, Kevin, get ready for this one. We are part of the Skywalking Network.
Skynet.
Patrick, give us a Skynet.
Skynet.
Awesome. Where you can find other great shows like the Max Effects Podcast, the Neverland Clubhouse, Totally Tell Me Everything, Star Warsologies, and the flagship show, Skywalking Through Neverland. And you can catch our YouTube shows, Collectopolis and Today in Star Wars History. So, until next time, this is Richard.
And this is Kevin.
And this is Patrick.
Now go Ape!